Good evening. Good evening. Thank you. I want to welcome you to this awards banquet for the Emerging Researchers National Conference. And before we really get into the meat of the program, I want to do three things. I want to acknowledge again that this is our 10th ERN where AAAS has collaborated with the National Science Foundation, and let's celebrate that. I also want to acknowledge that we probably wouldn't be here today if it were not for two people, one who's here and one who's not, but we wish that she were here, and that is Claudia Rankins and Yolanda George. Because they were basically involved at the very beginning, and it has grown so much from when we first started. It has just been absolutely incredible, and it has been a wonderful partnership, and I have loved working with you and with Yolanda every single minute of this time. I know it's going to be a little bit difficult because we're still finishing up the serving. We're going to try to hold it down to a roar. And let me just ask for your cooperation that you do not have conversations with your colleagues, even at a whisper with this many people. It really is disruptive. I also found out that one of our colleagues here, it's that person's birthday today, and so we're supposed to all sing happy birthday, right? Okay. Where are my birthday people? Okay. All right. The other thing is that let me wish you all, while they're getting themselves organized, let me wish you all an early happy Valentine's Day. Okay? And let me remind you that there are still 5 more shopping days before Valentine's. Okay, now if you guys are going to sing happy birthday, you better go on and do it. Yay. Now, one of the things that we said from the beginning that characterizes the Emerging Researchers National Conference is that it feels like family, right? Feels like family. So we celebrate our joyful times and all of these kinds of things. I have the unique pleasure of introducing our speaker for tonight. I got a little confused because I was the commencement speaker for the College of Science at Penn State in 2013, which was John Urschel's last year. And he was a student marshal at the commencement. And then I found out by reading his book, Mind and Matter, A Life in Math and Football, that the reason that I got confused is that John actually finished in 2012 when he was a junior. But he retained a year of eligibility, right? And therefore went ahead in his 4th year and got his master's. John Urschel is a mathematician and a former NFL offensive lineman. He attended Penn State where he played football and received his bachelor's and master's degrees in mathematics. While at Penn State, he was awarded the Campbell Trophy. How many of you know what the Campbell Trophy is? Almost no one. How many of you know what the Heisman Trophy is? Almost everyone. So the point is, the Campbell Trophy is actually better than the Heisman Trophy because it's the academic Heisman. That is that he's good enough to play the football, but he's being recognized for his academic prowess. When John finished as a junior with his bachelor's degrees in mathematics, he had a 4.0. Okay? He also received the Sullivan Award, presented to the most outstanding amateur athlete in the United States. Urschel was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens in 2014 and played 3 seasons in the NFL as an offensive lineman. He has published a number of research papers in areas including graph theory, machine learning, and numerical analysis. In 2017, Urschel was named to Forbes 30 Under 30 list of outstanding young scientists, and in 2019, he published his memoir, Mind and Matter, A Life in Math and Football. He is currently a 4th-year PhD student in mathematics at MIT. So I want you to join me in welcoming John Urschel.
Hello. Not to contradict you, Shirley, but the Campbell Trophy is nice. I mean, Heisman might have been a little nicer, but I'll take it. Exactly. All right, so you have me for 25 minutes, and at the end of this talk, there will be 10 minutes for questions, give or take. So if while I'm talking, you feel that there's something you might want to ask me, something you're curious about, at the end, there are microphones to line up behind. I have to say, it's been absolutely amazing hanging out with a lot of you the past 2 days. I've had the opportunity to meet with so many young scientists, so many undergrads, so many grad students, and just hear what they have to say, hear the questions they have. I even got to meet a young lady who's an undergrad who works in the exact same area as me and give her advice about what classes she should take, what she should think about doing for grad school. This is the benefit of conferences like this. Science is an amazing, amazing field. I have to tell you, compared to my old profession, where I'm getting hit, where I'm running around, where I'm getting beat up every day, let me just tell you a day in my life at MIT. I wake up in the morning, I take the bus to work, I get in, I make myself an espresso, and I just sit in my office, and what do? I think. And I read papers, I read books, and then I just try to solve problems. What problem am I trying to solve? Whatever problem I want, whatever I'm passionate about, whatever interests me. That's the beauty of being a scientist in academia. The ability to ask yourself, what am I curious about? What do I want to understand better? What do I want to know about? And to have the latitude to go and think about it, day after day after day. It's really a beautiful field. Believe it or not, while I've been here, I've had the chance to talk to a lot of undergrads, and, well, some people have called me a role model. This sounds crazy, right, Mom? That's my mother. It's dark times indeed. How did I get there? This is what I want to talk about. If you look at the photo up here, photo that just disappeared, there we go, the photo up here. This is a picture of me, my mother, and my grandmother. And truly, my journey in mathematics doesn't start with me, but it starts with my grandmother. My grandmother grew up in segregated South Carolina. She went to school in the basement of a black church where there was one room and every single grade was in that same classroom. Class ended after 8th grade. My mother, she went to school in inner city Cincinnati. She went to a school that had a high dropout rate, high teen pregnancy rate, and where the goal was really just to graduate, not to try to enrich a student's mind. But my mother, she loved school. She loved education. She was top of her class. When she asked her guidance counselor what she should aim to be, what she should do, her guidance counselor told her that she should aim to be a secretary. Now, lucky for me, she didn't listen to her guidance counselor. She applied to her local university, the University of Cincinnati, which she got into and got a scholarship. My mother knew that she loved science, she loved STEM, and she wanted to work in this field. She wanted to be a scientist. But people around her doubted her. They told her, this isn't the field you should go into. And so she started to doubt herself too. She went into nursing because this is a field that was more suitable for people like her. But she didn't forget about this. And she made sure that no matter what happened, she would tell me this over and over when I was little, that I would never be held back by the household I was born into. My mother always wanted to make sure that the only thing that would limit what I could do would be a lack of talent, a lack of work ethic, or just plain old bad luck. And let me tell you, my mother succeeded. I remember from when I was very, very little, my mom would buy me puzzle books and workbooks, and we would just play little games. We had one night a week, every night in our household, and this was game night. And what we would do is we would order pizza, and we would just hang out, and we would play games. We would play Monopoly, we'd play Connect Four, we'd play checkers. And the whole time, I was having fun. But my mother was training me to be a mathematician. Thank you. I have memories from when I was very little, sitting at the kitchen table with her, doing puzzles, doing math workbooks. My mom valued my education so much that she dedicated a whole room in our house just to me. She bought me a desk. She made a little study for me. She put a piano in there as well, but that part didn't go as well, but the desk part was used. And I have to say that she's completely responsible for my experience in mathematics. And my experience really is an atypical one. Why? Because I've come to realize that all the math I learned from when I was very, very little, all the way through, I would say, when I graduated as an undergrad, I did not learn a single piece of math in the classroom. I learned it at home. I learned it in the comfort of me, my desk, and a math book. And why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because this is a conference full of young researchers, full of people who want to succeed in the sciences. And I want to tell you the power that being in charge of your own education has. When you rely on a classroom, when you rely on a professor to give you information, that's limiting in a sense. If you're in a class and you don't like the professor, you're not going to like the subject. If you're in a class and the professor just doesn't quite make sense to you, you might feel alienated. But let me tell you, there's something very beautiful about science, and I encourage all of you to try to connect with that at a personal level. If you find yourself interested in a subject, don't just take a class in it. Read a book in it. Read 2 books in it. And then find out what book comes after that and read that as well. I can tell you, throughout my entire math career, whatever classroom I've been in, whatever setting I've been in, not once have I ever felt like I was alone. Not once have I ever felt like I don't quite belong in this class. And I can tell you, it's because my experience with math was a personal one. My experience with math was one that didn't rely on the other people in the class, that didn't rely on the professor. And I've come to realize, really my experience, it's a rare one. It's a disjoint one. Being at this conference, I have never seen so many minorities in the sciences all in one place. I have to say, it's amazing. It's true. And I want every single one of you to take this all in and recognize that there are so many people like you out there who love science, who love what they do, who want to learn, and who want to make a difference. Because let me tell you, it can be a little lonely out there. It can be lonely when you're the only person in a given class and no one quite relates to you. When somehow all the students are building study groups that maybe you didn't even know existed. When you feel like your experiences aren't really represented in the classroom, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go home and pick up a book. I want you to go home and be in charge of your own education. This is my first big piece of advice for you, because I can tell you it made a world of difference for me. The second thing I really want to hit on is to find a mentor. This is something that is crucial. Let me tell you, I read so many math books. I remember when I was a little kid, my favorite thing was to go to Barnes & Noble, and I would run straight to the math section, and I would leaf through little books. I remember I have this very vivid memory of being in 3rd grade, and the very first time I picked up a book and I saw algebra where numbers were replaced by variables. It blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind. And even though I amassed all this mathematical knowledge, I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know what I wanted to be. I didn't know what I could do with math. I was a first-year student in undergrad, and I majored in aerospace engineering. Why? Does anyone have any guesses? Why? Why would I major in aerospace engineering? These are reasonable answers. Clearly, I see some older people are answering. Younger people would get this. Because my mother told me I was majoring in aerospace engineering. It's true. And I got to school, and I came to realize, no, all my favorite classes are my math classes. So I majored in math. But still, I didn't know what I was going to do with a math degree. I didn't know what people did with a math degree. I didn't even know what mathematicians really did. I didn't even know what a mathematician was. And it wasn't until I took a math class the fall of my 2nd year. I took Introduction to Real Analysis. And I had this professor. His name was Vadim Koloshin. He was Russian. He did his undergrad at Moscow State, did his PhD at Princeton, was a professor at Caltech, and, well, he had a 2-body problem that eventually led him to Penn State. And he taught the class in a very Russian style, very strict. And one day, near the end of the class, he stopped me at the end. And he said, "John, I want you to come and see me in my office at my next office hours." And that's all he said. So, of course, now I'm stressing because what did I do? What could I have possibly done wrong? And I go to this meeting, and he tells me that I'm the strongest student in his math class, and that he sees a lot of potential in me. And have I ever thought about performing mathematical research? Is this something I would be interested in? And of course, I jumped at it. I had never heard someone believe in me like that, to say that I had talent and I had potential and I could do something. And let me tell you, I fell in love with mathematical research. He gave me a book to read and a problem to solve. I read the book and I worked on this problem day and night for a full week. I sent him the solution and he would send me 3 more problems. And this went on for about 18 months. And finally, my first paper came out of this. It was a 3-body problem involving the sun, Jupiter, and an asteroid in Jupiter's asteroid belt. There was no feeling like it. In hindsight, I can't help but notice, but realize that this guy, Vadim Koloshin, he had absolutely nothing to gain from this. Absolutely nothing. He didn't even put his name on the paper. He spent all of these hours with me, all of these meetings, all of this time answering my questions. And for what? This didn't give him anything. This didn't help his math career. This didn't help him with anything. He just did it because he loved mathematics and he loved bringing along people who are younger than him who also love math. And if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be a mathematician. He was the person who taught me how to study math, how to perform math research, how to navigate the world of mathematics. And I can tell you that life in the sciences can be difficult, especially when you don't have a mentor. The beautiful thing for all of you is that you're at a conference. I know for a fact you're at a conference full of great mentors. Not only have I had the chance to speak with some amazing undergraduates, amazing graduate students, I've had the chance to meet a large number of professors who are here solely because they care about you. They care about you, they believe in you, and they want you to succeed. And that's what's important. I can tell you, Vadim and I, our backgrounds couldn't be more different. Something tells me my experiences growing up in Buffalo, New York, are not quite the experiences that he had growing up and studying mathematics in Russia. But he cared. He cared enough to reach out to me and to support me. And he was the best role model I could ever have. And that's when I came to realize that, first of all, I love math. I want to be a mathematical researcher. And second, how important it is to bring along the next generation of young mathematicians. When he did this for me, I realized that it's my responsibility to try to do this for the next generation. And you young researchers, it will be your responsibility to do this for the generation after you. In closing, I want to remind you that no matter what you do, don't forget that science at its core is a beautiful field. Science fundamentally is concerned with the search for truth, the search for knowledge. I know sometimes when you're in certain classrooms, when you're in certain environments, there's people involved. And somehow people, they aren't always as truthful or as unbiased as science and mathematics can be. But the thing I will encourage you to do is remember how much you love math, how much you love science, how much you love whatever discipline it may be, and stay personally connected to that field and find those key people and those key mentors to help you through your journey. Because I can promise you, as someone who's almost through to the other side, it's worth it. It's fulfilling. There's nothing more amazing than the feeling of having made an impact, the feeling of working on something and just pushing knowledge, pushing what we know that little bit further. I'm telling you, it's worth the world, and it's worth all your hard work. Thank you. And now we have time for Q&A. Don't be shy.
We have mics. Yes, we have mics.
Hello.
We have
Yes.
Mics. Okay.
Sorry.
We met yesterday.
Yes, we did.
It's
Hi,
good to
I'm
see you
Sean.
again.
Good to see you. Actually, I had a question about, you said in the introduction, she actually mentioned, Ms. Shirley, how you doing? That you're doing stuff in machine learning.
Yes,
How is that going, and where are you going with it?
that's a great question. So a lot of different people do sort of different things in machine learning. I would say that as a mathematician, I approach things from a theoretical perspective. The thing that interests me in machine learning is the fact that we have a large class of algorithms that solve problems extremely well. Much better than we expect them to, actually. Much better than we can even explain that they do. And now, let me just give you a little story. These machine learning algorithms, these machine learning techniques, often heuristics, are being used to solve quite important problems. Could you imagine, let's say, going to a car dealership and being given a car and someone telling you, well, this engine, we don't know how it works, we don't really know why it works, but somehow this thing seems to work extremely well, much better than we expect it to. You should just go out and drive this, and don't worry, it probably won't break down. And so one of my big interests in machine learning is looking at learning algorithms, looking at machine learning problems, and trying to find provable guarantees. Yes.
Hello, I'm a math major at University of Hawaii, and wonderful. I feel compelled to buy your book now, but
First of all, I just want to say, I have never seen a better advertisement, possibly for anything, than when Shirley just, very cavalierly just pulled the book out. So thank you for that.
my question is, math is a very, I feel like there's a lot of boxes that people put you in whenever you are a math major, and you definitely break the mold. What are really good ways to get people interested in math, or do you know of any really good ways to get people interested in math?
Yes, so first of all, getting people interested in math and keeping people interested in math is an extremely difficult problem. It's because, in many ways, our society is hardwired against math. In popular culture and social culture, it's okay to joke about not being good at math. It's something that some people are even proud of. Smart people. It's socially acceptable to be enumerate, whereas the same person wouldn't dream of making a joke about, let's say, being illiterate. It doesn't have the same socioeconomic association. And so you have this math phobia being passed on from parents to children, being passed on from the media to young people, and it's hard. The best advice I can give, and what I've found works very, very well, is to always treat mathematics as a tool, as a powerful tool to solve problems. Math shouldn't be thought of as, okay, we have the quadratic formula, we're going to use it 20 times on the homework, and then 5 more times on the exam, and then we're going to forget about it. You should think about mathematics as a high-powered set of tools that helps you solve problems, helps you solve puzzles. And I can tell you from my experience, almost all young people enjoy puzzles, they enjoy problems, they enjoy things that stretch their mind, and somehow mathematics isn't always presented in that light, I would say.
Before I say anything else, I'd like to quickly build on that previous question.
Yes.
The math phobia is real. I know that as a math tutor in my university. It is real. But I just wanted to say that, first off, Mr. Urschel, or Dr. Urschel, as I'd like to say, but I can't quite yet.
Yes, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that reminder. I appreciate that. There's something I have to do after this. Yes.
But your story absolutely spoke to me. I can think back into, say, my 3rd or 4th grade, and my dad, who originally wanted to do things with economics, and then he moved into computers because that was the cool thing at the time. Mm-hmm. But he always sort of liked math. My mom didn't like math. She was a bio major. She didn't like it. But I can remember looking at all these algebra books and thinking, man, this is really cool. Why are they using the letter X? And I'd go around and explain this to all of my classmates, and no one seemed to get it. And they still don't really get it as I move into PDEs is what I'm taking this semester. And I am an undergrad math major, I should have said, at Dell State University. My name's Tom Morrell. This is all out of order. But I have this problem that I've been sitting on for a while. I'm not going to go into details. It was a trivial little thing, but it got me interested in mathematics because I tried to ask my high school teacher, say, if you have a torus and you cut it lengthwise and trying to find the integral of that cross-section to try and find the area of it, and she didn't really know what to say. And I don't know why I thought she'd know what to say. I still haven't been able to find anyone who knows what to say. But and this is something I've been sitting on, and I presented it at a little conference at my school, and there were about probably only 3 people who really cared there. And there's a total of maybe 8 math majors at my university. It's a nice department, but there's not many people there. But I have this problem that I've been sitting on, and I don't really know what to do with it. And I'd like to try and bring it to ERN. My project I had here this year wasn't math related at all. It was ecology related. But what do you recommend to do with that?
So, perfect. So my first piece of advice is, if you're trying to look at slices of a torus, let me think about this.
Oh no.
So, when you say you have a torus and you're
So
cutting it
they're
with a
spired
plane,
sections. So through the center, it's 2 circles, and they merge together. And I mean, I've already done the integral, and I'm pretty sure it's an awful elliptic integral mess, but I don't really know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm. She says we will solve the math problem offline, but I imagine if it's, for instance,
I'm sorry. I meant in more of a general sense. There's a project that I want to work with.
But if it's perpendicular, shouldn't this be a straightforward integral?
No. Oh no. Yeah, I should probably get going. But my question was.
It's not obvious to me.
I'll leave it for later. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
We are experiencing more noise than I think is necessary. Okay? We have a person who wants to ask a question in the back of the room.
Okay. Hello. My name is Kennedy Curtis, and I am a sophomore physics and mechanical engineering major at North Carolina Central University. I am also part of the thank you. I'm also part of the women's track and field team at my school as well. So my question for you is, when you were a student athlete in undergrad, how did you manage to balance your academics while being a STEM major and also keeping up with your athletic abilities, such as like practices, weights, and all of that good stuff?
That's a great question. I'm not going to lie to you, as a student athlete, especially playing big time sports, it's hard. It's very difficult because you're taking a full course load and you're also pretty much working a full-time job being a student athlete. I mean, yes, they have these NCAA hour limits, which of course Penn State, we always follow these perfectly, but it's difficult. And I would say that two things that I would really advise. The first would be to take a look at what your priorities are. You should sort of sit down and ask yourself, what are the things that are most important to me? And if you are a student athlete, ideally, athletics and academics will be two at the top of that list. And then you have things that are lower down the list, like watching TV or playing video games, things like this. And then you should look at how you're spending your time. And the thing I want you to make sure of is that the way you're spending your time is consistent with your priorities. If, let's say, athletics is something you really care about and you care about your academics, which you should, I would say make sure that you complete those things first. And then if you have extra time, spend it doing other things. And this can be easier said than done. And this leads me to my second point, which is I find it so much easier to be successful as a student athlete when you make sure that you actively love what you're doing academically and what you're doing athletically. I want you to love it to the point where you're working on schoolwork right before you go to bed. And when you go to bed, I want you to be so excited to wake up in the morning, to go to practice, to go to class. I want this to be what you look forward to. And when you treat it like this, you will make time for those two important things, because I've come to realize people make time to do things that they really like to do. And so that's the best advice I can give you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, Mr. John Footballer Man. I have two questions and a comment for you.
Okay, what's your name? I mean,
My name is Roberto.
Roberto? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So my first question is, what's your favorite topic in mathematics of all time?
Oh, that's an easy one. So I have to say, so I started out in pure math, but one of my favorite areas of math is it's an applied math topic. It's something called combinatorial optimization, which is it's this field that's fundamentally concerned with trying to find, let's say, the optimal route or the optimal choice of doing something when the number of choices you have is often exponentially large and sort of the number of items you have. Let me give you a couple examples. Suppose maybe some of you have heard of the traveling salesman problem. This is a problem where, okay, you're a salesman, maybe you're the Avon lady, and you have to stop by some number of houses, and then you have to make your way home. And you want to ask the question, in what order should I visit the houses so I can do it as quickly as possible and be home as quickly as possible, because you have to be home to catch The Bachelor, okay? And the thing is, suppose you have to stop by 20 houses. There's only 20 houses, that's not very many. How many different ways can you visit those houses, and how many different orders? Someone? 20 factorial. So you're only visiting 20 places, and suppose you took, let's say, a second to check how long each route would be. A second for each 20 factorial routes. I believe that's roughly on the order of the history of the known universe. And so it's really important to be able to come up with ways to approximately solve this problem quickly. And although this is not an area that I actively work in, I have to say it's an area that I find absolutely fascinating. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So. Question?
So first, I want to say thank you for coming to speak out to us. I appreciate it. I'm going to get straight into it. My name is ERN Williams. I attend the illustrious Harris-Stowe State University.
Okay.
So I really hate math, but I want to change that. So what advice would you give for someone who wants to change that feeling? Because unfortunately, the thing that I want to be is a neurosurgeon, and I have to deal with math. So how would one work on trying to get past that and just go straight into it?
So I give two different tracks of advice depending on whether you're someone who has a math phobia and you just want to appreciate math, or has a math phobia and you want to be able to use math.
Use it.
Yes, use it. So the single best piece of advice I can give you is to truly do what I did, and that is to go to a local bookstore and pick up a math book at the last place where you feel like you have everything down rock solid, and just start flipping through it and just start attempting things, and even make a game out of it. Suppose, okay, this is what I did. Suppose you're going to a certain chapter. Try solving a couple of the problems first. It's a really fun experience. It's strange when you're asked to solve a certain math problem and no one's told you how to do it yet. It becomes a little bit of a puzzle, a little bit of a game, and maybe you manage, maybe you don't. And then you read from the start of the chapter and you see how the established technique compares to what you thought of or what you thought you would try. And it makes math a really interactive thing that isn't just, here's a formula, let's use it a couple times, and let's move on to the next chapter. So that's one way that I would really encourage you to sort of approach it. For people who just want to appreciate math, I highly recommend picking up a popular math book that can really show you math in a different light. For instance, one author that comes to mind is Stephen Strogatz. He's written a number of beautiful popular math books that really illustrates the beauty and importance of math in our world.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm starting to close in on Iris time. So why don't we do this? Let's take these last three questions, but don't answer them one at a time. Answer them after you've had the three. Okay.
I see. This is a good idea. Continue.
Okay. Hi, my name is Joshua Patterson. I'm from Delaware State University. And my question for you is, you were talking about how your mathematics professor took a chance on you, basically, and gave you all those problems and everything to help bolster your mathematics ability and made a large impact on your life. I wanted to ask you if you, to the best of your knowledge, have ever made such a similar impact on another student's life, and if you haven't, how do you propose that you would do such a thing?
I won't answer. I won't.
Yes. Hello, my name is Basil Shahada. I'm from the University of Missouri in St. Louis, currently pursuing a degree in structural engineering. And my question for you is, I know that you played football and you pursued your degrees at the same time. And currently with work, being a TA, and taking 3 labs and 4 lectures, I'm just wondering how you manage your time, because I've found myself almost barely sleeping, having a hard time sleeping, thinking about all the obligations and what I have coming up, and sacrificing gym sessions and sacrificing seeing my family, things of that nature. So I just want to know how you manage your time and how you dealt with all that exhaustive stuff, you know?
Again, I won't answer.
My name is Frederick Brooks. I'm majoring in electrical engineering at Lawson State Community College in Birmingham, Alabama. And on the topic of mentors, how do you decipher what mentors have their best interest at heart or their organization's best interest at heart rather than your best interest at heart? And have you ever had any issues with that, and how did you kind of identify that?
Okay, 3 great questions, and now I will answer them in chronological order. No, hold on. The first question was, have I ever felt that I've made an impact on a young person in mentorship? And I can say absolutely yes. And I find that you don't make an impact without actively attempting to do so. And so I would, encourage, grad students who are here, be an active member of your community. Be an active role model for younger researchers. So things that I would encourage you to do, things that I've done that can help this is offer to be, let's say, a mentor or a counselor for a high school math research program. For instance, at MIT, we have a program called Math Roots, which is for talented high schoolers who come from underserved communities. And working as an academic counselor there was absolutely amazing to see the difference that only 2 weeks at MIT can make in a high schooler's comfort with math and just general ability. I would encourage you, anytime you have an undergrad who comes to talk to you and wants advice about what they should do, what they should aim to be, help them. Help them and let them know that you welcome that. Let them know that you're happy to see them and that they can continue to reach out. And so those are pieces of advice I would give to sort of researchers who are starting to make the transition from, okay, you had a mentor who really helped bring you along, to where you're at a point where you can be a mentor for someone younger. The second question was about time management. I have to say sometimes there aren't easy answers to questions like this. Like I said before, it helps to make sure that you prioritize what's truly most important in your life. Make sure you do those things first, but I have to be honest with you, sometimes a person can just take on too much. I can say that when I was in college and when I was studying mathematics and playing football at Penn State, I felt like I had enough time to do everything I needed to do. Of course, maybe I could have read more if I wasn't playing football. Maybe I could have done more football training if I wasn't doing math, but I felt like I was able to do both to a fairly high degree. I can say that while I was in the NFL in my later years, while I was getting a PhD from MIT, both full-time, this was too much. I managed to do it. I managed to sort of maintain both and succeed in both, but it really took a lot out of me. This was not a pleasant experience for me. I was not happy doing this. So I will say that there is such a thing as taking on too much, and you have to sort of know your personal threshold. The third question was, help me. Yes, good versus bad math mentors. Yes, this is also a tough question, which it's hard to give an explicit answer to, but let me just say this. So first of all, Vadim, this is a mentor where I just knew this person is getting absolutely nothing out of this. He's getting less than nothing out of this. I'm actively taking time away from him, and yet he wants to help me. But then I've had other people in my life mathematically where I look and I think, what is this person's intentions? When you look and you realize that maybe this person is getting things out of me, maybe this person is trying to push me in some direction that isn't best for me. And the best piece of advice I can give you is to trust your instincts. Because that's really the only thing I can tell you, because while there are a lot of truly amazing scientists who care about you, let me tell you, there are also scientists who will see you just as a number, just as an object that they can use to some purpose. And so I would say it's really important to make sure that you're an active member of your own education and your own research. All right, thank you.
Wait. Please join me in thanking John. I'm going to actually take the last question, and and I'm asking it because I think that there's somebody who's out there who's thinking the same thing. And that is that you're strange. in the sense of being somebody who is deeply committed to their scholarship at the same time that they're also an athlete. Did you encounter people who, on either side, either the math people who thought that this was crazy, or the athletes who thought this was crazy? I mean, I know that it has been noted that your teammates at the Ravens thought it was wonderful that you published a paper, even though they had no idea what it was about, okay? But did you encounter the same thing in college?
No, I can certainly say that I've encountered sort of issues and challenges. As a mathematician, I have to say, okay, at this point, I'm more established as a mathematician, but earlier on, I had gone places to give talks, and I've heard mathematicians say directly to my face that just because someone took a couple classes in math and they're very good at sports doesn't make them a brilliant mathematician. I've had things like this said to my face. I've had the same exact person, after my colloquium talk, tell me that my research is absolutely amazing and that, he thinks I'm extremely, extremely strong. And I've had people in football question my football ability because most football players don't like math. And these are the same people that I like to prove wrong. I'm going to let you know there's going to be a lot of people in this world who doubt you, who think you can't do something because they think they know you from what they see. And I want to tell you, just take all that negativity and just savor it for a second at how amazing it's going to be when you succeed. How amazing it's going to be when you're successful.
Thank you. Absolutely. How amazing it's going to be when you succeed. You're always going to have doubters, and how amazing it is when you succeed. That is called implicit bias, people. And you're going to encounter it. And I really thank John for bringing that message, because it's absolutely critical for all of you. Okay, we're ready to resume part 2 of our program. And in this particular section, what we want to do is to recognize some of the individuals who have been involved with the judging and the presentations and what have you within the program. And so I am going to turn this recognition of the David and Lucille Packard HBC Scholars over to Dr. James Stith, Vice President Emeritus of the American Institute of Physics. Also Penn State. You didn't have to be a Penn State person in order to make it onto the program, but it helped.
Yes. Good evening. It is a deep honor and high privilege for me to stand before you this evening to introduce to you an impressive group of young folks that have been assisting with the operation of this conference. Roughly 3 decades ago, David and Lucille Packard made an investment in the potential that they saw at HBCUs. At the time, they were people just like those of you sitting out there in the audience, wondering what they were going to do and how we were going to get there. The investment that David and Lucille Packard made ultimately resulted in 162 graduates who were funded to pursue a doctoral degree in science, mathematics, and engineering. Roughly 100 crossed the finish line. And I'm going to ask those pack of scholars if they would come up and stand behind me, if you will. I was supposed to have done that when I first got here. I'll need a mic. And Shirley, could you steal me a mic from down there? Okay. Now, not only are these young folks exceptional scientists, but they're leaders, they're good citizens, and they have a strong commitment to giving back. Several of them were student presenters, just as many of you were, in early incarnations of this conference. Okay? Now, just as you wondered what you were going to be doing, they did the same thing. But by any measure that we want to use, the investment that David and Lucille Packard made was a good investment. I wish I could have gotten the same ROI on the investments that I have made. So what I want you to ask you to do is to please join me in giving a warm ERN applause for their service, their representation, and for their success. Now, I'm going to ask them if they will give you their name, their undergraduate institution, their graduate institution, and what they are doing now.
Hello, my name is Joycelyn Wilson. I did Clark Atlanta University for for undergrad. I did the University of Maryland College Park for graduate school, and I'm currently a mathematics faculty member at Spelman College. Good evening, I'm Centrica Eaton. I'm a proud alumna of Norfolk State University. I received my PhD from the University of Maryland College Park, and I currently recruit for the Department of Navy's HBCUMI program.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kayenda Johnson. My undergraduate degree came from Morgan State University, Industrial and Systems Engineering. Go Bears! I did my graduate work at Virginia Tech in Industrial and Systems Engineering, and currently I am working for the federal government at the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services.
Good evening, ERN. Manu Platt. My undergrad degree is in biology from Morehouse College. House. My PhD is in biomedical engineering from the Joint Department of Georgia Tech and Emory University. And I'm actually currently an associate professor in biomedical engineering at the Department of Biomedical Engineering at Georgia Tech and Emory. And I'm also the deputy director of the Interdisciplinary Bioengineering PhD program.
Good evening. My name is Victor Wyatt Prater, and I am a graduate of Jackson State University. And I have a PhD from Georgia Tech. Currently, I am a research chemist with the United States Department of Agriculture, and I am an adjunct professor at Delaware State University.
Good evening, I'm Kim Lewis. My undergraduate degree is from Dillard University in the physics. And my graduate degree is in applied physics from University of Michigan. I'm currently a professor at Howard University and the Associate Dean of College and Arts and Sciences.
Now, for the students, I want you to look at what your future will look like. You too can be here. And so let's, thank you very much.
See, Jim is nice. I said Jim is nicer than I am. I would start off with, I remember when they were just starting. Okay. I'd like to now move to recognition of the AAAS Science and Technology Policy Fellows, our SACNAS Institute alum, Leadership Institute alums, and the L'Oreal USA for Women in Science Fellows who joined us in this judging. So if you could please come up here so that we can recognize you. Let me just say that no one really ever gets away from us. They stay connected and they continue to give back because of their sense that we've got to pay it forward. We've got to be concerned about what happens to the next generation. She can come with you. Oh, okay. Just checking. Okay. All right. And so in this particular case, if you just let us know, like, which of these things you happen to be, what is your feel, and where are you now? Okay, Dee.
Hello, I'm Dion Rossiter, also known as Dee. I have an undergrad from UC Berkeley in Earth and Planetary Sciences. I have a PhD from UC Santa Cruz in Earth and Planetary Sciences. I'm a climate scientist, atmospheric science in terms of cloud physics. I started working for Shirley Malcolm directly after graduate school. I was a AAAS Mass Media Fellow, so if you are interested in the Mass Media Fellowship, come talk to me. I can tell you all about it. I was a SLI 2014 alum. I'm currently, as of Monday, I should say, I'm starting as the executive director of a program called Science at Cal at UC Berkeley.
So I am Quincy Brown. I was a AAAS Science and Technology Policy Fellow in the Science Directorate at the National Science Foundation. My undergraduate degree is in electrical engineering from North Carolina A&T State University, and my master's and PhD are in computer science from Drexel University. And I, until recently, worked for Dr. Shirley Malcolm at AAAS, and I'm now at the AnitaB.org as a senior director of innovation research.
Hi, I'm Leanne Martinez. I did my undergraduate degree at UC Santa Barbara in aquatic biology. I have a master's degree in biological oceanography from UC Santa Cruz and a PhD in aquatic ecology from Cornell University. And I am a SACNAS Leadership Institute attendee, alum, and I'm an aquatic ecologist at Colorado State University, Pueblo.
Good evening. My name is Chi Onyewu. I got my MD PhD at Duke University and eventually went on to do the AAAS Science and Technology Policy Fellowship. My very first ERN conference was in 2012 when I was pregnant with my daughter, now 7 years old, Amarachi, who's being brave. I currently am an associate director for the Research Program Management Department at Regeneron Pharmaceuticals in Tarrytown, New York.
Hi, so my background, my undergraduate was from
I am Dr. Nada Rawlings-Goss, and I am currently at Georgia Tech as the Executive Director for the South Big Data Innovation Hub and a Data Science Institute. And I was in the first class of the AAAS Science and Technology Policy Fellows that were Big Data Fellows. And so my background is in physics from Florida A&M University. And my PhD is in biophysics from the University of Michigan and doing African genomics and genetics. And that's how I got into big data through whole genome sequencing. And now I was at the National Science Foundation in the Computer Science Directorate, Office of the Director, for my fellowship.
Yes, that is Iris.
I'm Iris R. Wagstaff. I am a proud AAAS Science and Technology Policy Fellow. I served at the National Institute of Justice in the Office of Investigative and Forensic Sciences, so the science agency of the DOJ. I got my BS in chemistry from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. I got a master's in chemistry from North Carolina A&T State University. Aggie Pride, any Aggies in the room? And I got a PhD in science education from North Carolina State University. Go Pack. So I was a research chemist for 15 years at Dow Chemical and then transitioned to STEM education, research, and policy. And now at AAAS as a STEM program director, and for the last 3 years managing the ERN conference. So.
Terrific. Thank you all very much. Thank you so much. Okay. The next presentation that we will have, Soy, where are you? Okay. We have the wonderful opportunity of collaborating with different other parts of the foundation. And in this case, Soy, how long have you been with us? 5? Oh, okay. You're starting to get some tenure on you. Okay. Soy Rastigar, who is head of the Office of Emerging Frontiers and Multidisciplinary Activities of the Directorate for Engineering within the National Science Foundation. And he has awards of his own to present. You can either use this or that. Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a distinct pleasure and honor to be here. This is an awe-inspiring gathering, and the energy really comes from the research participants who come together and flourish this room with their efforts and with their spirit. The focus of the program that we developed in engineering called Research, Experience, and Mentoring is on the M word, the mentoring, which was talked about quite a bit this evening, particularly with John's keynote lecture, the importance of mentoring. So we take that and we try to structure it, and we have to make it purposeful in this program. Rather than putting the students in a lab and hoping that somebody will take care of them and mentor them, we will make sure everyone has a mentor, and we will make sure all the mentors have gone through purposeful training that another grant actually manages. We had a poster presentation of the participants, and participant can be beyond the categories of undergraduate and graduate students. It can be high school students, they can be high school teachers, and they can also be community college faculty. And we have, in each category, we have awardees, and I'm just going to state their name and ask them if they're in the room to please come up here and get their certificate. And of course, the check will be in the mail as for everybody. And stand right here, and so we can take a group picture, and then we'll all step down. So in the community college faculty category, Barry Bates. Is Barry in the room? to save time, I'm going to move on with the names, and whoever is here will come. In the undergraduate student, Jasmine Douglas. Undergraduate student, Theodore Anastasov. High school student, Ricardo Vera. High school student, Milyanji Mendez. Undergraduate student, Trinity Boykin. And high school teacher, Liana Gonda King. That's the beauty of this large room and this sea of beautiful minds.
Good evening, good evening. So the first night I did this, it was a little dry, but I understand because some of our showcase participants were stuck or delayed in airports. So tonight, can I have all my 2020 HBCU Making It an Innovation Showcase participants make some noise? Thank you. So these students were wonderful. As you know, they all were selected to solve one of 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals, and were brought here for a series of workshop sessions, which culminated today in the showcase, where the students pitched their solutions to judges. And so today we're going to announce the winners, the third, second, and first place winners. So we will be showing the videos of the winners, and when your video is shown, I ask you to come up. Coincidentally, our third place winners, we don't have a video for them, so I'm going to ask them to come up and just give very brief remarks. So in third place from Morehouse College, the team of the Wayfinder team, so Dante, Carter, and Lewis. So we're going to put them on the spot since they don't have a video for me. So one of you has to very briefly just describe what your prototype is and what your solution is. And we're going to fix your collar.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah.
Set
Gotta get me right. Okay.
Gotta get you right. Very briefly, just tell me.
Well, good night, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good time. So the Wayfinder group, what we did is that we were able to build a prototype to assist people with low vision, blind, and visually impaired people being able to navigate their day-to-day lives. And so that's essentially what the Wayfinder is. Using ultrasonic sensing technology and haptic and audio feedback, we were able to do this. So that was Wayfinder.
Our third place team, we had some amazing speakers. Thank you to all the speakers and presenters who worked with our students for the past 2 days. One of the speakers, and actually a co-facilitator, Lakeisha Greenwade, has offered the third place team a signed copy of her book, 40 Days to Unshakable Self, as well as a membership through the end of March to her Lucky Fit coaching program. Lakeisha, did I get it right? Close enough. But here you go. So stay up here. And now we'll show the video for our second place team.
Good morning, guys. This is your paper from last test. Sam,
Come on up, second place team.
Vanessa, Farouk.
Bro, I'm going to drop this class.
You like the subject?
I know, I want to study, but I don't know how. Bro, I'm getting hits on Instagram, and this celebrity commented.
Wow, this celebrity. What if a student is conscious of his grade as much as he is of his Instagram likes?
According to a study by Carnegie Mellon University, students can suffer a lack of motivation because of the lack of a sufficient reward system and a supportive classroom climate. On the other hand, there were over 1 billion worldwide users of Instagram hitting the like button 4.2 billion times a day. What if we took the social incentives of Instagram and put them in an environment dedicated to learning, introducing tips, an incentive-based social media platform that aims at improving students' motivation by incorporating the 3 concepts shared by Tali Sharot in a TEDx talk, how to motivate yourself to change your behavior: social incentives, immediate rewards, and progress monitoring.
TIEF offers the best tutoring services around. We suggest tutors based on student learning styles and tutors' teaching styles. Why allow tutors to choose you when you can choose from a pool of tutors? The tutors' teaching styles, homework policy, reviews, and ratings will be available to make the student choose the tutors that are best for them.
Tired of sending redundant emails? We have a chat zone with all the tools you need to communicate. Here you can chat with friends, tutor, make groups, send files, everything. We have a multiplayer session called Battle Cup. Here you can play with random people, friends under different categories, everything you need to succeed.
From a user's point of view, TIEF has been amazing, motivating me to study and offering me great tutors. And guess what? I'm not dropping that class.
Hello? There we go. This is our second place team, the team Teebs from Philander Smith College. And now we will announce our first place winners. Video, please. And first place winners come up when the video is shown.
To September 19th, 2019, Hurricane Dorian ravaged the island of the Bahamas, accounting for over 60 directly related deaths, hundreds still missing, and over 70,000 displaced. We noticed an inefficiency in the disaster reporting systems in the Bahamas and other countries as well, and we wanted to make a change.
Hello, my name is Louis Talahun. I'm a junior computer science major at Morehouse College.
Hello, my name is Nicolette Barrett. I'm a junior at Clark Atlanta University, majoring in electrical engineering and physics with a minor in mathematics.
Hi, my name is Stephen Seymour. I'm a junior electrical engineering major at Morehouse College.
The Guardian Network is a communication network that can be used by people during disaster situations so that they can easily report their current location and emergency status to first responders who can carry out rescue operations.
How does the Guardian Network function? Let's think of a user called John. He's in a hurricane situation with his family and he's stuck in his house. The first thing that he's going to do is take out his phone and connect to the nearest LoRa device. Then open the Guardian app and select the type of emergency. Then after that, he selects the condition of his environment, which is he's in his house. Then since he's with his family, he selects he's not alone. Then he will get asked if there are any injuries there, and he selects yes if there are any lethal injuries, no if there are not. Then this is sent to the nearest LoRa device to the emergency responders, the senders. So let's see how this process is powered in the background. The user sends the information to the LoRa receiver, and this information is transferred to a gateway that stores it in a database. Then our background algorithm ranks and categorizes user requests to help dispatchers efficiently allocate rescue resources.
frequent storms negatively affecting the economy and the quality of life on small island developing states, the Guardian Network will provide the connectivity to assist those in need.
So I would like to allow Stephen Seymour from Morehouse College, but congratulations to the Guardian Network team from Morehouse and Clark Atlanta University. Stephen's going to make very short remarks.
Hello, everybody. So just to clarify, we did that at like 11 p.m. We were trying to meet the deadline, but essentially what we did is we repurposed IoT to be able to allow people to respond in disaster situations. So if you want to learn more about that, just come to my table.
So along with the second place team, who also gets a signed copy of Lakeisha's book, first place team gets a signed copy. They will also get the coaching, Lucky Fit coaching membership for free through May. Second place team, you get it through the end of March as well. We'll take a quick picture, and then I have a Apple Watch raffle for everybody. So. All right. And now so we raffled off Apple Watches, 2, Series 5, because I had one student make sure that it was a Series 5, Apple Watch, for students that attended the HBCU Making and Innovation Showcase. And we thought that it would just be students coming in just to get a raffle, but what we found were that the ERN students who showed up really were engaged with our HBCU Making and Innovation Showcase students. So I will be calling some names, and our Making and Innovation Showcase students were entered as well. So the first person is one of our HBCU Making and Innovation Showcase students, Darrell Street from Southern University. Yep. And who's the next one? Is he up here? Is Darrell on his way? And the second student is, and I apologize, Makaria Kirk from Dillard University. If you come on up. I'll meet them on the side. We'll walk to the back so that you can get your Apple Watch. So is Makaria Kirk here? Is she walking up? Okay, great. Thank you all for supporting the HBCU Making and Innovation Showcase, and have a great rest of your evening.
Okay, and now the moment you've all been waiting for, the award of the student prizes. And I'm going to turn everything over to Jonathan Lambright, and then Claudio and I will just stand back here and be gracious as winners come across the stage.
Thank you, Dr. Malcolm. Good evening, everyone. So we're now ready to present the awards for the poster and oral presentations. First, I want to thank all of the judges that participated in the conference this year. Will all of the judges please stand? All of the judges, please stand. Let's give them a round of applause. Yes, thank you all for your assistance. Okay. So we're going to present the awards by STEM discipline. So students, as your name is called, please quickly make your way to the stage, accept the award from the presenting judge, move to the center of the stage, wait for your picture to be taken, and then make your way to the back of the room to complete the paperwork for your award, okay? All right, let's get started. The first discipline will be biological sciences, oral and posters. Biological sciences.
All right, good evening. So for oral biological sciences undergraduate, third place oral presentation, Larry Stokes, University of Mississippi. Second place, Jira White, Claflin University. Tied for second place, tying with her is Brittany Hume Dawson, Alabama State University. And our first place winner, Oral Science, Biological Sciences, Nora Gilliam, Indiana University, Purdue University. Congrats.
Good evening. I have the graduate oral presentations from Biological Sciences, 2 first place awards from the University of New Orleans, Fadiki Adiola. The other first place award goes to Ebony Nottingham from Florida A&M University.
Good evening. I have the honor of announcing the 5 winners for the undergraduate poster presentation, Biological Sciences, Ecology and Physiology, Micro and Plants. In third place, from the University of Central Florida, Sanjeev Gershani. In second place, from Oklahoma State University, J.C. McCoy. We have another second place, University of Puerto Rico at Calle, Francisco Torres Torres. And we have 2 first place winners from University of Guam, Karen May Bacalia. And also, first place, University of the Virgin Islands, Dejani Laplace.
Good evening. I have the pleasure of announcing the winners of the undergraduate poster presentation. Third place goes to California State University Fullerton, Stephen Gonzalez. Tied for second place, Rebecca Townsley, University of Arkansas. Tied for second place, Paris Taylor, Louisiana State University. First place, Wheaton College, Helena Manteneo.
Good evening. I will be presenting undergrad posters for biological sciences, subcategory genetics, biomedical engineering, and cancer. For third place, Justin Sharp from Jarvis Christian College. We have 2 second place winners. The first one is Kaya Mitchell from Georgia Institute of Technology. Our other second place winner is Deja Lofton from Virginia State University.
And in first place, we have a first place tie as well. We have Sanika Bandit from Chapman University. And Rhythm Williams from Lawson State Community College.
Okay, our next category will be chemistry. Chemistry, oral, and poster presentations.
Good afternoon. I am Dr. Allen, and I have the pleasure of giving out awards for the undergraduate poster presentation for chemistry and chemical sciences, subcategory chemistry, biochemistry, and cancer. So we had a lot of ties, so you guys were awesome. Third place, we have Dominic Joseph from the University of Missouri, Columbia. We have Brianna Burton from Xavier University of Louisiana. And my last third place is Caleb McIver from Oakwood University. For our second place, we have Jessica Fletcher from Carthage College. And we have Vanessa Valentine from Alcorn State University.
We have two first place winners. The first one is Julie Colon from the University of Puerto Rico. And we have Alexander Gonzalez from CSU Bakersfield.
Good evening. I have the pleasure of presenting the undergraduate oral awards in chemistry and chemical sciences. Our second place goes to the University of Puerto Rico, Rio Piedras, Jose Ramirez. And our first place goes to the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, Karis Barnett.
Good evening. I'm presenting two awards in the category of chemistry and chemical sciences, the graduate oral presentations. The second place award goes to a student from Delaware State University, Joshua Patterson. Joshua. And the first place award for graduate oral presentation in chemistry and chemical sciences goes to a student from the City University of New York, the Graduate Center and Lehman College, Sheila Pelosi. Thank you.
Okay, next will be, let's give them a round of applause, yes. Please. Next, we'll have the category of computer science. Computer science.
Good evening. It's my honor to present the Oral Presentation Awards for Computer Science. In the undergraduate division, first place goes to Zara Razuli from Fisk University. For graduate oral presentation, first place goes to Bhaskar Roberts from Princeton University.
Hello, I'm Harry McElroy from Performages Corporation. Let me say from an industry perspective how impressed we were with all of the presentations. All right, for the posters, for second place, we had a tie. From Alabama State University, we have Gabriella Talahoun. And from Fort Valley State University, Jamelia Atkinson. And for our first place winner, from Livingston College, Tanisha Underwood. Thank you.
Okay, our next category will be ecology. Ecology.
Hi, I have the pleasure of presenting 3 awards tonight in the oral presentations in ecology. For second place in the undergraduate oral presentation from the University of Puerto Rico, Rio Piedras, Maria Alejandra Chardon Suarez. First place for undergraduate oral presentation in ecology from Harris Stowe State University, Derek McFarland. Okay. One more award. Okay, in the graduate oral presentation in ecology, we have a first place award from the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, Lenisha Gilbert.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nigel Golden. I'm a PhD candidate at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, and I have the honor of presenting to you 5 awards for poster presentations in subcategory ecology. In third place, we have Keanu Suen. He's from Kapiolani Community College. Tied for second place, we have Benicia Harrison from Alabama A&M University. Tied for second place, we have Stephanie Moncayo. She's from Dominican College of Blauville. Tied for first place, we have Tion Grant from University of the Virgin Islands. And also in first place, we have Aaron Dady from University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign.
Is Lanisha Gilbert from University of Maryland Eastern Shore here? Lanisha Gilbert? Okay, thank you. All right, let's give them a round of applause. Okay, our next category is mathematics.
Hello, I have the pleasure of presenting 3 awards for mathematics. First, we will do first place in the graduate oral presentation from Old Dominion University, Tony Haynes. Then we have our first place undergraduate oral presentation from the University of Central Florida, Roman Vasquez. And lastly, we have our first place undergraduate poster presentation from Southern University A&M College, Ashley Alfred.
Let's give them a round of applause, please. Our next category is nanoscience. Nanoscience.
Good evening. It is my distinct pleasure and honor to announce the awards for nanoscience and physics. And the first prize, we only had first place winners. The first place winner, a prize goes to, it's the oral presentation in nanoscience, the University of Puerto Rico at Ponce de Leon, and it's Gabriel Torres Mahias. The The first place in the oral presentations for the graduate prize in nanoscience goes to Rose Herdalina Limage from Binghamton University. The first place, am I announcing these too fast? The first place in undergraduate oral presentations in physics goes to Caitlin Lilly, the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. And we also had a first place winner in physics, Ayman Abdullah Schmoot from Texas Southern University. And I also want to acknowledge the names of students. You should not come on stage. You'll meet me on the side here. Those names are Sarah Hagan, Jacob Parks, Caitlin Johnson, Emily English, and Daniel Duong.
Good evening. I have the pleasure to present the undergraduate poster presentations for nanoscience. In second place, from Tuskegee University, Zaria Duncan. First place, from Fayetteville State University, Washat Ware. For undergraduate poster presentation for physics, from Suffolk Community College, Austin Demerly. And first place, physics category, undergraduate poster presentation, Kiyomi Sanders from University of Hawaii.
Okay, our next category will be social and behavioral science and mathematics education.
Good evening. So we have 2 awards. Second place, excuse me if I mispronounce your name, but I'm gonna try my best. Asinereje Image from University of Missouri at Columbia. And first place, Martina Hakeem of Tuskegee University. And in science and mathematics, education, Eden Harrison of Spelman College.
Good evening. I will present the oral presentation awards in the undergraduate and graduate level. They're both first place awards. From Spelman College, we have Cheyenne Mitchell. And from the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, Catherine Starkey.
Okay, that's it. Let's go. Yeah. And our final category will be technology and engineering, posters and oral presentations, technology and engineering.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to give the awards tonight for Technology Engineering Undergraduate Oral Presentation. In third place, University of Arkansas, Christine Treen. In second place, from Hampton University, Alexander Edmondson. And first place for undergraduate oral is Keena Leatham from University District of Columbia. Now we have the graduate oral presentation. Second place, Florida International University, Gianfranco Perez Greco. And first place, graduate oral presentation from Binghamton University, Melissa Mendoza.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to announce the winners within the technology and engineering category. I'd just like to say that we had a very spirited conversation, not only about you all's successes, but the way in which you articulated how you had learned from your failures within the research experience. Third place, we had a tie between Abigail Turchek at Arizona State University and Alexa Cruz Bonilla from University of Puerto Rico.
So the second place goes to Kayla Evans from Washington University in St. Louis. And the first place is for Carolina Colon from Florida Institute of Technology. Congratulations to the winners.
Last but certainly not least, and do know if you did not make this stage today, you are still winners. From technology and engineering, subcategory civil, mechanical, and manufacturing engineering, we have third place winner Carly Rowe from the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Isaac Medina, San Antonio College, second place. And we had a tie for the first place winners. Jennifer Chanin Capelloni, Community College, first place. Brianna Gonzalez, Florida International University, first place.
Let's give all of our award recipients a round of applause.